What's up, everybody? It's Dominic D'Angelo of Studio1Sports.com, and I'm live here with Mr. Robert Karpelis, WD Creative _Ish on X. Robert, happy Thursday to you, my man.
Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to all of you joining us here live as Dom is live from underneath a bridge from what it looks like.
I was dealing with trolls on X earlier today, so that makes sense.
Wait, were you?
Yes, I was.
Who's being mean to Dom? What happened?
We were debating about not Dave Meltzer, Hulk Hogan, and Antonio Inoki were the ones we were going up against.
Inoki was bullying you?
Inoki was echoed in his sentiment of more influential than Hulk Hogan.
Oh, so we're going total crazy on this here.
Yes, 100%. Why did I do that? I spent way too long dealing with that troll. Either way, let's say hi to some folks in the chat. Hey, Triple E, he's not a troll. He says, "What's up?" Devin Dowling, ayo. The big boss is Hikaru Shida becoming Hikaru, thank you. Asuka by how she's been acting, and oh man, this is the thread. Treating others like Mina. Stupid phone won't cooperate. Sorry to hear
that. Maybe.
We'll talk about it. Willie Thornberg, what's open? Is there still a wrestling show on Wednesday nights? I haven't been watching for a while. Oh man, how about that? Want a breeze? Hello, R&I. Surprising fact I saw today that Gable has not been on TV for 325 days, and Kaiser hasn't been on for 409. Wow, that's true.
Where are those guys? This is just like AEW level of booking.
Underutilized fellas, I tell you that much. Where's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate been too?
I miss those guys. Dre Owen says, hello, R&I. So is Darby just racking up wins until MJF beats him at Double or Nothing? Yes. Literally what we've been saying. Check the record.
Kimmy Star chimes in after morning, and we have Wrestling Old Head. Oh, hey, guys. Good after morning. Robert, is it a good morning for you after watching Dynamite?
It was definitely 2 hours of television that I watched on TV.
Biggest highlight for me on that show was Welcome Back Taz. I tell you what, he's amazing.
Yeah, well, look, I think Dynamite is in a position right now where not a ton happens on the show, but am I on a crazy ass delay? I feel like I'm like audio.
Let
me try to log out, log back. Maybe it was the wrong link you sent me.
It could be that. Yeah. No, I think Robert, what he just said right now is true. Where he might have been going to at the same time, is that, yeah, it's kind of not stale, but part of the course, right?
Hey, there we go. Am I better now? Am I still lagging?
Yeah, you're all caught up. You're good.
That was super weird. There was a point that I was making.
You were saying that they were kind of almost treading water in certain ways.
Yeah, they're treading water. It's like they did that thing of, well, if we announce something as a title match, then it's going to have more weight and heft to it, even if there really are no stakes or consequences. I don't think anybody watching that show thought that. There still seems to be a lag, but all right. Well, I'll just.
You're all caught up on my end. I see you just fine.
Maybe if I just go to audio only, you'll be able to at least hear me.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think anybody watching this thought, oh yeah, Ace Austin's beating Okada for the international title. In the same way, I didn't think Brody King was necessarily going to beat Darby Allin, even though, like I predicted, a lot of the fans were going to want to see that happen. MJF and Kevin Knight was the odd surprise. What I'm concerned with, beyond Devin Dowling's comment that said Dom's prettier anyways, yikes, is they should not be this comfortable beating MJF.
I didn't necessarily get that. I thought MJF is such a big star. He's kind of Teflon, but if he does rack up the losses, it will start to become concerning. I don't think that's necessarily a huge issue at this point in time. But elaborate if you care to.
I just think that, if it's like it was the Jericho thing where they had Jericho lose matches thinking that it was going to somehow, some way elevate the guy, the Action Andretti effect. But where you have Max lose in a way where Kevin Knight essentially cheated, it doesn't elevate Kevin Knight, and it only winds up making Max losing feel less and less special. Him losing in that fluke way to Darby okay. I didn't love it. I didn't like it, but it's like he didn't just get beat. In this instance, he got, punched in the dick and lost, which means Kevin Knight won by cheating. And it's kind of, I don't know. It didn't sit right with me. I think Max is too valuable for them to take that kind of a narrative risk.
I think it's almost like punting the ball for later on. Oh yeah, Kevin Knight cheated to win, but maybe what we'll see what happens when they actually go 1-on-1 and they have a legitimate match between one another.
I think Max getting hoisted by his own petard is fine, rather than losing by getting pinned. If he would have lost because of a disqualification or a count out or something stupid like that, okay. But this didn't make a lot of sense. And Max was right to be mad at Kevin Knight. So when Darby dropped from the rafters to save him, it's like, well, no, Kevin Knight earned what he got.
Yeah, from a storytelling standpoint and like logistically, it is kind of weird. I think the bigger exception I took with this is like, okay, Kevin Knight wins, and then Darby's like, hey, next week I will give somebody this title shot, and it will be you, Kevin Knight. So you're muddying the waters of the TNT Championship in with the world title picture. So somebody's going to lose, somebody's going to win, and then
I almost didn't mind that.
Win.
So I almost didn't mind it just because Kevin Knight had issued the challenge to Darby before and said, hey, I want to face this guy. And yeah, my delay is driving me nuts. I'm just going to keep the
You're not delayed at all on mine.
Oh, I'm seeing it on my end. It's driving me absolutely bonkers.
I think the chat is seeing it too, though. So
it's fine. As long as you can hear me, we're good. But I even wore a nice collared shirt today for this. Go figure. The point that I was trying to make here is Kevin Knight had challenged Darby. I get it. They want to get Darby as many wins as possible. Kevin Knight was not necessarily heroic in his win over MJF. His win over MJF didn't mean anything in the sense of, oh, Kevin Knight's got a real win. It's like, it's a tainted win. It's like when a heel says, I beat the babyface, because they, like Becky saying, I beat AJ at WrestleMania. Well, you beat her because she cheated. So it doesn't necessarily help at all. And I think that Max is probably the strongest heel that company has right now. I would not be taking chances with him. That's just me.
Yeah, I still lean in the camp that he's pretty Teflon and he's great at what he does. So I think if anybody can recover from something like that, it's MJF. I just wouldn't go to the well too much with that.
So like Warner Breeze here says, would it make more sense if MJF got DQ'd because he only cares about the world title? Yeah, I wouldn't have minded, quite frankly, for Max to do a blatant low blow with the ref watching, just as I'm going to give an FU to Darby, who could only beat me with a low blow. Like, I'm not even going to hide it. I'm just going to kick this guy right in the dick, and he can win, but I'm just going to beat the hell out of him after, so Darby comes running out. Because instead, poor Max is getting hit in the crotch, and that's not cool. And guys, speaking of getting hit in the crotch, if your lady or fella or that person that sends you an eggplant emoji at 2 a.m. is ready for better sex, then you should be too. That's where Blue Chew comes in. They have been on a mission for years to get you bricked up, build your confidence, and help you actually perform in the bedroom. Their new arousal-based formula, Blue Chew Gold, is helping millions of men have better sex. And we've got a special deal for our listeners right now. When you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the third for free with promo code RUMOR. That's promo code RUMOR. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo. Dom, you're on mute.
Go for the gold.
Unfreaking believable. What a producer. A lot of other stuff happened on Dynamite. Any of it worth discussing or mentioning?
I will say from maybe how they're portraying people and a little bit of personality, I think, is showing through Dynamite with all the wrestlers. I think they're getting a little bit more of an opportunity. I just think it's a little bit more noticeable. Am I wrong on that, Robert, or what do you think?
It feels like, hey, we're trying to get to Double or Nothing. We're trying to tell you some sort of compelling stories. But at the same time, we know Darby is, I said it yesterday, I said, he's not going to be here for a long time. He's here for a good time. It's, hey, we're going to get you a match and a win over Ciampa. We're going to get you a match and a win over Brody. We're going to get you a match and a win over Kevin Knight, and then eventually get to MJF. I don't know what sort of Faustian bargain Darby's expecting Max to make in order for him to accept the challenge.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess that creates a little intrigue to see like what is going on with that, but at the same time, yeah, what is it going to be?
There was also a lot of weird cast shifting on this episode of Dynamite. So there was that, I'm pretty sure I hallucinated it, that there was a segment with the Death Riders in a dojo where Will Ospreay just shows up and they're going to train by fighting on the floor.
In the hallway, nonetheless.
Like, what are we doing here?
It is a head scratcher, right? I mean, I don't know. Is this the best way to show Will Ospreay?
No. But I also don't get, like, why are they trying to help make Ospreay better?
Yeah, he is like the best.
Wrestling All Head asks if Ospreay got unplugged from the Matrix. That is kind of what this feels. It feels, honestly, like when Jake Roberts trained the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
Not a good comparison, by the way. Not feeling great about what we're seeing right now with this. I just don't understand that, and I don't understand why the Ops are now back as baby faces and they want to recruit Ospreay.
Yeah, you don't put your top stars in this kind of position where like hey, work with us, train with us, improve yourself. Like,
especially because Moxley should want to be world champion and Joe should want to be world champion. Why would I want to bring someone else in who, like, it strains any kind of logic and credibility.
I think that's a tired trope too now with wrestling, is like, oh, you're learning from me. I'm your mentor and I'm going to develop you. We saw that with Seth and Braun the other on Raw too at the same time.
You're still seeing it with Asuka and Io.
Yeah, and it's just like, it doesn't benefit that certain star that's put in that position because like they're always going to feel like a prodigy or an underling. I mean,
look, Devin Dowling hit the nail on that. He said Claudio should want to be world champion too. Like, yeah, that should be the goal for everyone in a stable. And I felt like on the WWE side, they were getting there with Logan Paul in the Vision before the Braun Breaker injuries. The idea that Logan Paul was so over the top in favor of, oh yeah, no, we all got to make sure Braun wins the Rumble. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then Braun got taken out.
Yeah.
It's a weird decision on their part. I also thought it was a weird decision to have the Jericho Hurt Syndicate 6-man tag take place on Collision, where it didn't seem to resonate. Like, I honestly didn't realize it was taking place on Collision, so they weren't hammering that message home strong enough. And I guess Jericho was not able to be at Dynamite because he had a filming prior engagement in New York. So you brought the Hurt Syndicate back, who've been off TV for months, just to have them lose on Collision and then not even show up on Dynamite.
It's super strange. Like, and Lashley, when we last saw him, was getting positioned to be that single star that we've kind of been waiting for since he debuted on AEW.
It's a little odd. And now I guess FTR and Ciampa are a 6-man.
I guess I'm really sick of these trios. Really sick of them.
Dom, who are the trios champs right now?
I can't tell you. I really can't.
I genuinely I feel like it's the conglomeration.
Is it?
Didn't because I believe they beat the Dogs and then Gabe Kidd got injured.
Oh my God.
In that match. But like it's Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong.
Okay. Can we just get rid of those titles?
No, they're very important because you had Cope and Christian versus Rocky Romero and Trent, where Orange Cassidy attacked Stokely, which made me realize, we're moving to an FTR versus FTR and Ciampa going after the 6-man.
Don't like it,
dude. I'm a little bad. They really have the ability right now to eclipse WWE. WWE is coming off of a fairly weak Mania. Fan sentiment is not exactly on their side with the roster cuts, the confusing booking of SmackDown and Raw for the last few days. This now that being said, I thought the main event really strong match.
I agree. I felt like a pay-per-view kind of match, right? And I think it's unfortunate that they did it right then and there. And now where does Brody King go from here?
No idea.
That's my big concern with this. Like Brody, I mean, even during the match, you would hear Brody chants like during him and Darby, and it's just like
that's why I said I was so surprised they felt super comfortable just putting Brody in there to beat him, and it looks like Swerve is now coming after Bandito,
which I don't mind. I think that'll be fun, but it's just like give it the proper attention it deserves. Then, if you're going to do that, you know.
They're clearly just trying to beat the holy hell out of Darby so that he's weakened to the point where Max can get this win. And Max is now teed up to, I guess, wrestle Andrade.
Yeah, and I love the exchange and stuff between them and stuff like that. I think that's kind of fun. And like I do like all these different elements kind of coming into play. It just seems like it's going to be ultimately confusing and head scratching as it kind of is when AEW tries to pay things off.
I'm trying to see when Double or Nothing actually is. So Double or Nothing is May 24th. So we're still a long way away before the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time.
So there's a lot of time to build up to the Cope and so you have the Cope and Christian I Quit match with FTR. You're gonna wind up having Darby versus MJF for the world title, unless they kill Darby soon and just take the title off of him.
Right. What would you do in that position, Robert? What would you all do? I knew you wouldn't put the title on Darby at first, but
I wouldn't put the title on Darby at first. And now I feel like you just got to let him get wins over the next few weeks until Max. I don't know what he has to do to earn that title shot.
Yeah, I don't know either. What did you think of Cope and Christian? I thought that was actually a pretty good way to utilize them, get them on television as a tag team again, and just have them beat Roppongi Vice. And I thought that was okay. But
yeah, it was fine. It was angle advancement in a story with a match, which is totally okay, and that's what these should be. We're sort of moving away from the days of here's a random 6-man tag, here comes Angelico, and you're like, yeah, but I don't really know why. It was also strange.
I was going to ask you, how do you feel about how they're using Christian? I don't think we're ultimately getting that huge kind of return of what we get with Cope and Christian, like what we've seen before. It's a new version of Christian, but I almost feel like AEW is not giving us the whole thing, right? Or am I wrong on that?
For all we know, there may be underlying actual injuries or slowdowns going on with Christian, and they're trying to mask it a little bit. So not entirely sure. I did think it was interesting. They had 2 squash matches on this show.
Yeah, they did.
I don't mind squash matches when done properly. I think it's a good way to just, hey, here's Roosh. He's going to beat up a dude, and we're off to the races.
I'm 100% fine with squash matches. But only if that person that they're facing is a nobody. Like if you're putting Queen Amanada up against somebody and she's getting squashed, that benefits nobody. But if you have somebody that's just there for the week, totally fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this was whatever it was. And the Brawling Birds were building them up to go after the tag titles when it felt like you were building Alex Windsor up to go after Thekla and the women's world title.
Yeah, and Thekla did cut a promo with Sky Blue there too, so
which disappointed me because now Sky Blue talks normal.
That is upsetting, right? We need Julia Hart.
Yes, Dom. I think the one thing all in wrestling can agree on is, boy, we just need more Julia Hart on TV. But you know who we're going to get more on TV instead?
Who's that?
Roman Reigns.
That's right. That is right. According to Fightful, Roberts, Roman Reigns report WWE's goal this time is to pile accolades and deliver strong storylines rather than attempting to replicate the historic length of Reigns' last championship run. Previous trainer is widely considered one of the most dominant in WWE history. Reigns has confirmed that he is back full-time and plans to appear on WWE television throughout the summer. This marks a shift from his part-time schedule in recent years. Robert, we were speculating, kind of hoping that, like, and assumed that Roman Reigns would only be very short time, part-time here, and that, hey, why not just shift the title right over to Obafemi? Now that we know that he's going to be full-time moving forward, are you okay with this, and how would you progress things?
My guess is they're building Roman up to drop the title at SummerSlam, and then it's just a matter of, well, to who? If it's Obafemi, that's why I wanted Oba would win the title quickly, because it's like, well, it becomes a foregone conclusion at that point. So you're going to have Roman wrestle Fatu at Backlash, and then he can probably take off June, like whenever they do their show in Italy. I don't know that you necessarily need Roman there. Like Cody can handle headlining duties there, and then let him headline SummerSlam.
I mean, you could get Tony D'Angelo over in Italy.
You probably could. Like I'm looking, actually. So the next thing that they have, if I'm looking at this calendar correctly, it's Backlash, then the Clash in Italy.
Yep.
And then there's a Night of Champions, so obviously Roman can compete in that since that's in Riyadh.
Correct.
Saturday night's main event, SummerSlam. Saturday night's main event is in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, so there we go. Okay, and Roman will be there.
Yeah, Roman will be there. So you realistically, he can take off Italy. He'll compete at Backlash. He'll have a match in Riyadh against who, like maybe by then Jey Uso is turned on him. Or you feed Finn Balor to Roman.
I don't know if I'd like that though.
I'm trying to think of somebody that should put in there in that Saudi match. Because Night of Champions, everyone's going after a title. Or every title's on the line.
I'd be okay with the Jey Uso heel turn. I think that would be kind of fun.
Jey Uso heel turn could potentially work. E says Roman's scared to face Tony D'Angelo because Roman knows he would lose immediately. No, you're confusing that with Marcus D'Angelo. Marcus is the D'Angelo. So what's kind of crazy, for 2 seconds before we step out of here, NXT shed everyone.
They did.
Everyone that was a viable name has all been called up at once. And I was looking at the roster of like who they left. There's not a lot. Like Marcus D'Angelo, Tony D'Angelo is their men's world champion. Lola Vice is the women's world champion. And then you go look and see, it's like, okay, Keanu Carver is a guy they could potentially get behind as the next Obafemi. He ain't ready for anything major right now. I know that they've moved up Evil.
Yep.
And now Evil is the guy who's holding it down. But to give up Fatal Influence and Blake Monroe, as well as Sol Ruca, you lose Joe Hendry, you lose Ricky Saints, you lose Ethan Page. Like, CW's got to be a little annoyed right now, but they did just announce that all of the PLEs are going to air live on CW.
Yeah, it is a lot of talent to move up at once. And it can't, I mean, like, while I'm all for that, and I kind of am for like a fresh restart for NXT, it is like, where are you going to do and how are you going to handle it? And how are you going to handle the stars on the main roster at the same time, too?
I think some of those folks I think the guy who's going to feel the sting the worst is going to be Ricky Saints.
You think so?
I think look, Ethan Page has already settled into the role that I figured they would use him for, which is, hey, you're an upper mid card guy. You can feud for the secondary title and you can be a good heel. That works. JC Jane and her group got great nuclear heel heat. They're good. Blake Monroe, she's a star. She'll be just fine. Ricky Saints is going on to a SmackDown brand where there already are young dynamic talents, or not even young, but fresh new dynamic talents. So the audience wants to see Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, Ray Phoenix, Tama Tonga, Solo, Royce Keys. Ricky is not topping any of those guys in terms of the you got to see him. In fact, he also loses his edge of being the Cody pity hire because Cardona's already there.
Well, what if you put Ricky right in the fire with Cody right off the bat?
The audience will immediately reject that.
Do you think so?
Yes, the dude is not he does not feel like a world champion contender. If he challenges Cody in like a one-off, maybe like he answers an open challenge and comes out there. But no one's buying Ricky. And if anything, it's going to damage Cody even more because it is that Nepo kind of thing. That Nepo hire of this is my buddy and this is where we're at. It still makes the Aleister Black release that much more bizarre because I feel like he could have slid in there. The only thing that would make sense is if Ricky comes out there, challenges Cody in a straight up wrestling match, and then Orton comes out and just murders Ricky.
You don't want that though. If you're debuting somebody like that,
no, just kill him. Just punch his head right off his body, and there we go.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I think something like that could work. It's almost like a version of the 99 Jericho showing up in WWE.
He ain't 99 Jericho.
I know he isn't.
Ricky, I've yet to see him do anything in ring or on the microphone that has genuinely impressed me. And I would love for him to turn that around and prove it wrong because he's a really nice guy and people like him.
I think he's got a higher ceiling. I do.
I think his ceiling is U.S. title, but that's Trick Williams' world, and the guys going after Trick, being Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov and Tama Tonga, are far more compelling than Ricky Saints.
Is it that much of a problem though? If you did put Ricky in that position, just give him the shot to do it, and if he succeeds, he succeeds. If he doesn't, then he doesn't. And
yes, because I'd rather see that spot be occupied by Melo. I think Melo has a lot more momentum behind it, and there's a lot more fan sentiment of this guy really got screwed out of a WrestleMania match. Let's get him in there.
I think that's a fair. Yeah, I could see Melo being more in that position. But yeah, I mean, if you want a debuting star to feel like a big deal, I think this is the way to do it. It's almost like kind of what you were saying, like have Oba win that title, get them hot. Trick, they did it with Trick. They put him immediately in the Randy Orton picture when he debuted.
I don't have that confidence in Ricky. What I do have confidence in is that we will be back tomorrow, as we are every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative_ISH X account, the at SD Scoops X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, and on YouTube, on Podcast Heat and Studio One Sports, which is covering the Podcast Heat logo yet again on the bug.
Yes.
Best producer in all of wrestling. Myself and Scott Chaplin are going to be recording a working stiff later on today. So that'll be in Dom's inbox and hopefully eventually get uploaded to all your ear holes wherever you get audio version of podcasts, which is the same place you can get the audio version of this show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever. So on behalf of the man who insists on pantomiming, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
You're the pen, I'm the teller.
Shh.